I'm Caleb Kidd Coy, Epic Legacy Hero Builder, and I'd like to welcome you to Living Like a Bank. Along with myself, you'll hear from other successful experts and people who are busy serving and empowering many lives. You'll see how we're showing others to become debt-free in record time as they build economic discipline while generating a bulletproof family legacy revenue stream together. We'll learn how to live and operate just like the banks do. Today, I'm speaking with David Weiner, founder of Global Renaissance and author of Banking Like a Bank. Let's get right into that conversation. Dave, banks have been around for a long time now. Tell us a bit about how banking has changed throughout history, and in your mind, what is the most profound change that's taken place over the years?
As you know, banks continue to make and step into the same greedy ponds that they've done over 100 years. But if you go back historically, they've had to be the consumers had to be almost protected from the bank. And let me expand on that for a second. So just kind of can't put it in perspective. Everybody remembers 14, 15 years ago when we had the banking crisis and the mortgage meltdown in this country, when Lehman Brothers, the big investment banking giant, was allowed to go bankrupt. Bear Stearns had to be, literally sold off at the last moment before it crashed and burned. Even Merrill Lynch had to be taken over by, Bank of America. There was a banking crisis, but nothing compared. People don't realize nothing compared to a century ago when we were coming in, when we went through the Great Depression. Everybody knows, they know the stock market crash, but what they don't realize was the banking crash that occurred over the next several years, where people would show up at the bank and the doors would be open. There'd be no cash in the bank because all the money was gone. Even the bank robbers that showed up to rob the bank got nothing because it didn't work. And the United States for decades and centuries could not afford the banking system to be bankrupt. So what they've done is they've done everything in their power to prop it up. Now, initially, they forced the banks to have a capital reserve. There had to be a certain amount of money of deposit in the safe at all times. Otherwise, the federal government would shut down that bank. B, they allowed banks to make profiteering on their product line, which is lending money, more lucrative than what we would perceive what lending should be. If you've ever looked at the amortization schedule of any commercial or residential real estate deals, mortgages for that matter, you would be stunned at the profits that were inside those products. The government knew they had to make sure that the bank was able to make profit. Now, when banks were deregulated 17, 18, 20 years ago, nobody in their wildest minds dreamt that they would be unchecked again and able to take down the United States economy. But that is almost what happened 14, 15 years ago because of the greed bug. It was the only time historically where two financial sectors collapsed at once. And we're not out of the woods. We're entering into uncharted territory right now. But we should pay attention to the fact that banks have made more profit than any other entity over the last century because of government intervention.
Well, that's incredibly interesting, Dave. I'd like to thank you for taking the time to be here with us today and answer these questions. I know that people are going to go away with just an ease of mind and hoping essentially that the burden maybe that they've carried is now a realization that that debt can become their greatest future legacy asset.
I want to thank you, Caleb, for allowing me to speak out to your audience today. And I think that the work that we do in these sessions, even if it affects just a handful of people, they have a chance to fight the horrendous things that have basically entombed them in debt and nightmarish conditions that they just don't know a way out. But there is a pathway out. And again, I want to thank you for letting me to expand on that today.
Thanks for tuning into the show. Please be sure you subscribe on YouTube or the podcast on anchor.fm and follow me on social media at Metalpreneur. If you're ready to talk about building your own bank, use the QR code or go to rebrand.ly/buildabank. Be sure and join us for the next broadcast as together we learn to live and operate just like the banks do.